Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, A Thorn in My Side. The man who rules the world takes on an agent from the CIA from the Black Boule in this all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' A Thorn in My Side in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue. In a previous video, I talked about how actor Malik Yoba said that he was no longer identifying as a black man, but was identifying as non-white. And I wanted to go a bit more in depth on the historical context of the term non-white and why Malik Yoba's use of this term shows how he has no real understanding of what this term means to black people in the context of history. Now, when it comes down to the term non-white, the term non-white was used during the time of Jim Crow to define people who were minorities who were not black. Usually the term non-white was used to describe people who were Hispanic, people who were Asian, people who were Arab, and people who were not black, and it was used as a way to separate those individuals from black people. Now, Malik Yoba really doesn't understand the context of this term in history and how it was used to basically segregate black people from other minorities, and how many of these white supremacists use the term non-white to differentiate themselves from black people so that they could go out here and be able to place black people in a second-class status. Because that's what the term non-white originally was meant to do. It was meant to humanize those minorities while it allowed a justification for the oppression of foundational black Americans. And that's why I cannot go along with Malik Yoba's whole argument about saying that he is a non-white man, because the term non-white was always used towards promoting anti-black racism, and since the term is used to, again, promote anti-black racism, calling yourself non-white basically is you going along with the whole platform of anti-black racism. Now, Malik Yoba says he wants to go out here and identify as a non-white man as a way to go out here and protest President Donald Trump's whole dismantling of DEI efforts. But what he doesn't understand about those DEI efforts is that those DEI efforts were not about including black people as a part of their so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion. No, the DEI programs were basically designed to be an empty symbolic gesture to all of the foundational black Americans who went to riot in the streets after the murder of George Floyd in an effort to pacify those people and make it where they could go out here and believe that there was something being done to include black people, but nothing tangible was being provided for black people at all. No, most of the DEI initiatives basically gave nothing to black people, and many black people like Malik Yoba sitting there fighting for a cause that was not benefiting us shows us how completely out of touch they are. And it's just as out of touch to support DEI as to call yourself non-white. Because, again, like calling yourself non-white, supporting DEI programs that basically gave no real jobs to black people. I mean, when it came down to DEI, like affirmative action that came before it, affirmative action basically benefited mostly white women and other minorities and gave absolutely nothing to black people at all. No, when it came down to black people, with DEI, just like affirmative action, black people were at the bottom of these positions as related to jobs and other opportunities, and usually it was white women and all these non-black minorities and people who were even white, who were like members of the alphabet community, who got most of the benefits from them, the same way it was for affirmative action. And just like affirmative action, again, the heterosexual black man got absolutely nothing tangible from this at all. And with the heterosexual black man getting absolutely nothing at all, it makes me shake my head regarding Malik Yoba coming out here and saying he's non-white and believing that this protest will basically, again, get the attention of people, to think that he's making any sort of impact, when in actuality, you calling yourself non-white basically reinforces the whole talking point of anti-black racism, because the whole term non-white, again, was used during the time of Jim Crow and the Civil Rights Movement for these minorities to, again, differentiate themselves from black people and say, hey, we are separate from those black people, and what we want to do is be a part of the whole social pyramid and pyramid scheme of white supremacy. And if you allow us to have these positions, what we will do is go out here and further oppress black people. And that's what it's looking like to me with Malik Yoba, who again shows how stupid he is as related to calling himself non-white, not understanding the anti-black foundations of that term, not understanding that that whole term was again meant to separate those minorities, to again have them be able to define themselves as not being black, and allow them an opportunity to again be a part of the whole system of white supremacy and be a part of that whole social pecking order. That's what the whole non-white term is all about. And him calling himself non-white, again, is completely Arkham certified, as I see it, completely Arkham certified to call yourself a non-white man when there's a whole racial context behind that word, a whole racial context behind those two words, non-white. And again, the whole thing is that the white supremacists in and of themselves know the definition of the term non-white, and they know what the term non-white means, because as related to things Malik Yoba thinks that they haven't figured things out. No, in the system of white supremacy, they figured everything out as related to what that term non-white means. And the term non-white means that, again, you are allowing minorities to know they will have a place in the social pecking order of white supremacy. If they say that they're non-white, they will still be higher up than black people as related to the whole pyramid of white supremacy, which is based on the oppression of black people. So I look at Malik Yoba and his proclamation, and it again shows me how he really doesn't understand what the term non-white means, and doesn't understand what the term non-white means in his efforts to go out here and again protest a president he has a disagreement with. Again, this is not how you go about things, because again, white supremacy already knows what this word means. They know what the term non-white means, and it's a code word for you having an opportunity to participate in anti-black racism and being given a pass to participate in anti-black racism if you're one of these minorities, like a Hispanic, an Asian, an Arab, an Indian. You are giving these people a pass when you say you're non-white, and basically Malik Yoba is affiliating himself with these individuals as related to participating in that anti-black racism. It's not sparking a debate. It's basically showing how completely out of touch Malik Yoba is with reality as related to this term. It's showing how completely out of touch he is as related to that term in the context of history, because as someone who has studied black history, I know what the term non-white means. The term non-white, again, was designed to, again, I'll repeat it once more, differentiate minorities from black people and make it where these people could, again, get that pass to participate in anti-black racism, because the foundation of the term non-white is, again, founded in the system of white supremacy to be a way to participate in anti-black racism and participate in anti-black racism against black people. And that just did not start with the current president that we have in the White House. This was going on with with presidents like Joe Biden and even a black president like Barack Obama. And again, these people were again participating in anti-black racism because that's part of the culture of America. It's a part of the culture of America. And the whole thing is he wants to throw in with minorities. Again, many of these minorities who are non-white, who basically, again, he's trying to call it, oh, I'm trying to call myself non-white because I'm going to be a part of these minorities. But no, those minorities were never a part of us. No, they never wanted to have anything to do with us. And this was even during the days of Jim Crow and the Civil Rights Movement. Many of those same minorities wanted nothing to do with us. And again, the term non-white was meant to differentiate them. And again, he's thinking, oh, he can be included with them as related to diversity, equity, and inclusion, when there's no diversity, equity, and inclusion that was meant to include us specifically. No, when it came down to all of these situations, it was always about excluding us and people looking to be a part of white supremacy to exclude us. And that's where Malik Yoba gets it all twisted regarding the whole term non-white. Again, these people he's trying to side himself with, again, that he's saying that it's the white people will say that if they go along with these minorities, they'll say that they don't like non-whites. No, those white folks and those so-called non-whites never liked black people, never wanted anything to do with black people, never wanted to give us anything tangible as related to anything. And again, the non-whites went along with the whites towards oppressing black people. And again, this is why we need the tangible of reparations, and the tangible of reparations to pay us back for all of the past slavery, past terrorism from Jim Crow, and the current and the past terrorism that went on with the Civil Rights Movement, and the current and ongoing discrimination that goes on in spite of the empty symbolic programs like DEI, which basically, again, is about including everyone but black people based on federal statistics. Based on federal statistics, it's about including everyone. But the whole thing is Malik Yoba basically doesn't see how he's not being included. He's trying to, again, fit himself in with people who are not with black people, still trying to form coalitions with other people who are never about us. And that's what happens when you are a part of the machine of old black media and not a part of new black media. No, old black media thinks about, again, being a part of, being included with other people as related to empty symbolic gestures, empty symbolic DEI jobs, empty symbolic things that really bring nothing tangible to black people. And again, this is what happens when you get a miseducation like Miss Malik Yoba has gotten. A miseducation as related to terms as related to race. This is something that I learned back when I was a little boy, that non-white basically, again, meant people who were not white but did not mean black people. But sadly, Malik Yoba, who is, I think, older than me, doesn't get that as related to things. I got this when I was in elementary school. I knew what non-white meant. I knew what that term meant. And again, that term is anti-black because they're not talking about us. No, they're not talking about us when they use the term non-white. This is a code word, again, to give people a pass, to let them know that these minorities are in, and let them know that they can go out here and be a part of the system of white supremacy and be justified in participating in oppressing other black people. That's what non-white means, because they have white, non-white, and black. And again, that's the way that word was originally used. And sadly, Malik Yoba doesn't understand how the word non-white is as related to being a pejorative against black people, because the term non-white is all about giving people, again, that pass. And I know I'm repeating, but I want you to understand how white supremacy uses words, and they use words in a way to, again, be code words for people to let them know, hey, this is the pass that I'm giving you as related to this term. You will know that, okay, when I'm talking about black people, I'm talking specifically about black people. And this is why black people have to be specific and clear about things as related to our identity, because the system of white supremacy is specifically clear that its whole foundation for being is anti-black racism. And again, that anti-black racism isn't just with this current president, it's been with previous presidents, and it's been with previous presidents as related to them being all part of a system of white supremacy. And again, Malik Yoba basically doesn't understand the bigger picture as related to the subtle politics transpiring around him. And because he doesn't understand the subtle politics transpiring around him, he makes a statement that again makes him really look bad, because he's trying to make a pro-black statement, but the whole thing is he's showing, ironically, how he's out of touch as related to the anti-black statement he's making, an anti-black statement that basically makes him appear to be just someone who's just completely clueless, and again so caught up in his feelings that he doesn't really understand what he's saying or the impact of the context of what he's saying. Because again, I'll repeat it once more, when someone says they're non-white, they're basically making a declaration to everyone about how ignorant they are about anti-black racism. Now, if you want to pick up some of my books on the SJS Direct Imprint, you can find those books in paperback and Kindle format on Amazon.com, Draft to Digital, Google Play, and other online booksellers. And if you want to see me make videos taking celebrities like Malik Yoba to the barbecue, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Coming to paperback and e-readers, The Steam Season of the Witch Girl. The aspiring angel takes on a wicked teenage witch in this action-packed, all-new Esteem series adventure. Pre-order your copy of The Steam Season of the Witch Girl at Amazon.com and other online booksellers. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.